This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
Purina believes no one should have to make the impossible choice between their own safety and their pets. But nearly half of domestic abuse survivors delay leaving because they can't bring their pets with them. Through the Purple Leash Project, Purina is helping create more pet-friendly domestic violence shelters so survivors and their pets can escape and heal together. Visit Purina.com/purple to learn more.
Wish you could become a morning person? You know the type, up before the sun, early morning runs, first one to the office with donuts and a smile. How do they do it? Easy. With the new Galaxy Watch 8, sleep tracking and personalized insights from Samsung Health help you improve so you can wake up to a whole new you. One who, dare I say it, skips the snooze? It's possible. Train your sleep with Galaxy Watch 8. Learn more at Samsung.com. Requires compatible Samsung Galaxy phone, Samsung Health app, and Samsung account.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Christian Moore back to Jack Goodchild on the blue line. He manages to get it wide to Jacob Minter. And Goodchild with the shot! And the Slough Jets are taking the lead on the power play with 23 seconds remaining. And Jack Goodchild is Kane Russell with the shot cross goal. No need for the save from Lorne. And Campbell has found himself in. And it's 3-1 to the Johnson Chieftains. They have it back quickly. Welcome to Zero Pucks Given, the UK Ice Hockey Podcast, hosted by me, Ben Hyde.
And me, Katelin Norpiner.
And this is Zero Pucks Given. Katelin, welcome aboard. Great to have you on.
Thank you very much and really appreciate you offering this to me. Really excited.
You have got a baptism of fire, really, for your first show as co-host, because obviously we've had a few games in the Britton Division so far.
Yeah.
You were at one of the big shocks that we'll get to.
Yeah, shock to me as well.
Swindon, but we should probably first address the elephant in the room, which is the Haringey Huskies Peterborough Phantoms 2 incident.
Yeah.
We've been chatting haven't we, during the day, and it's a bit of a strange one.
Yeah, I don't think I recall anything ever quite like this in my 16 years of watching hockey. Like, genuinely, completely new to me, this.
No, I mean, big up to our friend Nicky over at 4,000 Counting, sharing the hell out of the videos, a lot of different angles of stuff that you can see. And then, of course, there was the weird kind of controversy of Brad Taylor's statement about asking to be released from the Haringey Huskies, which, we reshared. I've spoken to Brad in the past. He obviously played in the Britton Division last year with Romford.
Yeah.
I was then told by Lee Mercer that that's not quite true. That's not quite how it went down.
Yeah, something a bit iffy about the whole situation, because he sort of had nothing really to do with it. And then that's all sort of come out, and it's just a bit all confusing. There's something not quite right there, I don't think.
No, well, in Brad's statement, as he said, and very truly, he's no stranger to that side of the game. That was his role when he stepped up with the Raiders last year. It was virtually his role at the Buccaneers as well, this kind of old school enforcer role. And as I said to you earlier in the day, it does take a big man to stand up and say, you know what, that's not why I play this game. I'm not all about this. I'm walking away.
Yeah, that takes a lot. I think that takes a lot from any player, but especially people known as the enforcer. That takes a lot. And to say that when he weren't even involved in that, it takes even more, I think.
But then it also, as we said, the flip side of it, if you're
Is that true?
You're a big man, you should be jumping on the ice and pulling your teammate off that guy and saying, what the fuck are you doing?
Exactly. I mean, the situation in itself, completely wrong. I mean, like Lee Mercer said in his statement, Luke Martin has been released, which I think is the 100% right thing to do. But it's a moment of poor judgment. But it's still not, that's not acceptable at all in the game. There's fighting and then there's literally that, and it's just, they're two completely different things. But yeah, as the enforcer, he needs to be going on that ice, taking him up, like trying to get him off, saying, "What the fuck are you doing?" Because no need for it.
No, and obviously, I mean, the Dops are going to have a field day with this when they get to it. The third man in rule, you could see someone got up, they threw an official to the ground as well.
Yeah.
As far as I understand, Leo Markey, who was the player that was the subject of the punishment, is okay, as far as I understand.
Yeah.
We haven't heard why it started.
That's what we all want to know, I think. I want to know the backstory. Clearly, it's not just happened for no reason. That would never happen for no reason. But I want to... There's obviously some history there, or Leo Markey's said something or anything. But I don't think we'll ever know unless they come out themselves. But yeah, I doubt they will. No,
and as you say, it's... For Luke Martin, it's a head's gone. And quite rightly, he's been released, and quite rightly, Dops will slap him with whatever they slap him with. I mean, if we remember back a couple of years, back to the playoff finals at Milton Keynes, when Jure Huska threw his stick into the crowd. Which, admittedly, playing at any other rink in the UK, I don't think it would have hit anybody, because MK hasn't got the netting down the middle. It's only got it around the goals.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a heads-gone moment. He got 2 years, which I later think was cut in half, because then he came back, played with the Buccaneers. Yeah. But I think under the pressure these guys play, even down at NIHL 2, which is, no disrespect, 'cause it's an incredibly good level. We'll get into later what a great start to the season it's been in NIHL 2.
Mm.
You can't behave like that.
No, of course not. It's not just that. It's the fact, like, no matter what's happened, they're not professional ice players. That's not their job. Everyone in that league has a job to go to Monday morning. They have families, and that's where it goes wrong. It's just not acceptable. It just isn't, unfortunately. And like I've said, it's a moment of poor judgment, and he's going to pay the price for it, which already is being released.
Yeah. So I would imagine that his season done, and I think, as far as I'm aware, because he's released, obviously the ban that he gets will still take place, but any club that he then signs for, he will have to fulfil the full length of that ban before he can play, as I understand it.
Yeah, it could be one of them things where teams may not want to take him on anymore. Moments like that, I think Haringey have done the right thing, because it doesn't just affect him, it affects them as a club if they weren't to release him. It gives the club a bad look, because, I mean, the video's gone viral. Everyone's seen it, I'm pretty sure, and it is bad. So it could affect him in the long run, really. Yeah,
and that's obviously people throw the comparisons in of, oh my God, if you did that in the street, you'd go to prison, and it's
again, it's two different things. Like Nikki said, completely different things. I don't think he said I don't think anyone's ever a player has ever compared a fight on the ice compared to what it would be like on the street. Obviously, if he did it in the street, he'd probably be put in prison, but it's not, and fighting's part of the game, and I think people forget that.
Yeah, and long may it continue to be part of the game, because it's...
Yeah, of course.
And it's not just there for the excitement or for the entertainment. Sometimes it's a genuine tactical reason that it needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And it's... Cliff actually said this to me when Cliff came on ZPG a couple of years ago, and we sat down for about an hour, and he said that this kind of level, players have got comfortable with chatting shit and not getting banged.
Yeah. There's too many of them.
Yeah, so it's obviously that's normally the retribution. Obviously, we don't condone Luke Martin's actions and what happened, because, as we have said, it was a disgrace.
Yeah, it's too far. There's a line. He's crossed it.
Crossed the line. So I think we'll put a pin in that, and I think we've discussed that very cleanly and very honestly.
Yeah.
And well done to Lee Mercer on his fast statements, his fast action. And they can now look forward to what should be a really good season for them.
Yeah. I mean, I know I'm going to one of the games soon with Haringey playing, so it'll be good to see an AHL 2 game with them in it, to see how they react to this on the ice.
I'm hoping to get up there this year, actually, because Mercer's talking about doing some live streaming.
Oh, lovely.
Got, like, the big Jumbotron set up now, haven't they? They've got set up at Ali Pali.
I do love Ali Pali, I've got to say.
When we did the Southern Finals there, and I was posting pictures from the commentary gantry and that, like, people in America and Canada were like, oh my God, man, where the fuck is that bar?
Just Ali Pali.
Yeah, love it there. So hopefully we'll get up to Ali Pali this year.
Yes.
Boys and girls, of course, in action. They've got Naomi Healy in pipes there. And,
yeah. Come on, the girls.
The Greyhounds are having a hell of a time. Exception. But we will start, as we normally do, with the Britton Division, which it has been sporadic is probably a word for it, a stuttering start, because we've had like 2 weekends, like one game that weekend.
Yeah.
But everyone is now underway. Everyone has played a league game, at least.
Yeah. At least one.
At least one. And it did start on Sunday, the 7th of September, up in Swindon, with Swindon Wildcats 2 hosting the Solent Devils. It was a 6-1 win in the end for the Devils. I must admit, I thought Swindon would pull trees up this year, but I was looking at Solent thinking, I'm not sure. You've not really added, you've not really lost, but have you really moved forward? But Alex Murray just, once again, he proves everybody wrong and proves...
He knows what he's doing, don't he?
Such a great systems team. They're so hard to beat. They're so hard to break down. And I mean, we'll hear later, a little later from Forshee and from Muzzer as well, that I think Forshee thinks that they didn't quite get their legs going. Swindon didn't have a pre-season.
No, they didn't. They literally, and I think Ken said on his message that you'll hear later, he went back in the country till late August, start of September, so he's had a week with the team as well to communicate what he wants them to do, and it's clearly just not enough time for them.
And they've made good additions as well, actually. I mean, a player that you'd be really familiar with in Jake Williams that's come over.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a terrific signing. Great
signing. Obviously, as an Oxford girl, gutted to obviously not have a team and obviously see all of our players leave. But they've got a really good player there. I'm familiar with Jake, great player. And, yeah, he's started well with the season, obviously, in their further games after this one. But he did get the goal. He got their only goal in that game.
But it was, 6-1. That does show that the Devils kind of, they ran a bit of a mock of it. It was 1-1 after 6 minutes, so it must have been a pretty even start. And then they just a hat trick from Liam Coleman, a couple of power play goals, which is their absolute specialty. They're one of the hardest teams to play against when they're on the power play.
Yeah, 100%.
But that was it for that opening weekend. And, if we flip to the second weekend again, just one game. Again, it saw the Solent Devils in action, and again, it saw a Murray masterclass.
I mean, I think that was a shock. I know I'm not putting down Solent at all, but on paper, Chelmsford should be beating them. So when I saw that, I was a bit like, oh, that's a shock. Just like you said, another Murray masterclass with Solent. It's how they've done that. They've clearly played very well. I weren't there, so I can't comment, but it's a thing of Chelmsford didn't show up and Solent did, and there it was.
I was getting sort of constant updates from people that were at the game. Unfortunately, I didn't make that one. But so the updates that I was getting were very much along the line of, we can't break them down. The systems are so good that we cannot break them down. And, there was a bit of penalty action from both teams. Chelsea captain Alan Lack spending a total of 8 minutes in the... himself, and then getting the goal in the final minute, which with an extra man as the goalie had been sent in to the bench. And as far as I'm understanding from a Solent point of view, they were actually disappointed that goal stood. They felt it shouldn't have stood.
Oh.
They fancied themselves having a little shutout in Chelmsford, which, I mean, I was at the Chelmsford pre-season game against Solihull, and it was a story of 3 periods being completely different. The first period was absolutely awful. You could tell that the lads were rusty. There hadn't been a great deal of stuff going on between them. Second period was terrific. Like it was like everything had just clicked.
Yeah.
In the third period, it was just legs. It was just tired legs, which you're going to get.
Expected. First game back after a summer, you can't expect them to just be in the gym constantly throughout the summer. They've got to have a good time.
As we've said, these guys have got lives, and
exactly. They've got lives. They've got families. They don't have to focus on hockey during the summer. They can go and live.
So when they came back, and my thing as a Chelmsford fan, which as everyone will know this year, I'm not going as much as I would like. I'm currently looking through my calendar and seeing what Saturday games can I do and what Sunday games can I do if my daughter's not at school the following day, and X, Y, Z. That my thing with it is the roster is okay. It's a fairly good roster. Tom Sawyer is a great addition.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of points and a lot of physicality that's been lost in Dylan Dix, Mikey Power, and I don't think it's been replaced.
No, I mean, not really. Obviously, the two standout signings for Chelmsford are obviously Miller and obviously Tom Sawyer, but they're not replacements for Mikey Power or Dylan Dix, I don't think. No. Obviously, Miller, clearly not. But yeah, like you said, it's not been replaced, and I think that might be an issue. But then it's only two people they've lost. So what is going wrong with the guys that haven't left, and where's the communication going wrong? Because clearly something's not going right. Because I mean, last year there was games where they were pounding people like 10-0. Games like that. Where's that gone?
Yeah, I mean they had the top 4 point scorers, I think, in pretty much every single league table of assists and goals. It was, they were putting them in from all angles, and the chemistry, particularly between the top 2 lines, was just astonishing. But obviously it's really early. It's going to take time. But as we're working through this month, Chelmsford have played 2 in the league and they've lost them both.
Both. And both quite shocking, actually. Both really shocking.
Sitting, before Cardiff lost to Swindon, we're sitting at the bottom of the league.
Yeah.
It's not a good look. And
not good at all. Really not good at all.
One of my bugbears has always been with it is the cost. It's the most expensive game to go to in the league is to go.
And obviously, we've both said as well, like, it's really expensive, but it's not that. It's you could go to a national game for some cheaper, or you could go to an elite game for about a £10 more. You're going to pay the extra £10 to go and watch an elite game of hockey.
I think it's got to turn around quick. Yeah, they've got a busy month in October, so hopefully they can get their feet under the table.
Yeah, of course.
Start moving up it. Well, I'm using the mouse to move a different computer, and that's not working. So we head on to the 3rd week of the season over the 20th and 21st of September, where we got a few more games.
A few more. Not the weekend. But obviously, Solent playing again. I think Solent have played the most games so far. Obviously, they are top of the league. But yeah, obviously, Solent 3, Slough 6. I expected Slough to win. I think Slough will be up there again. I think they're in my eyes number 1 contenders to win the league again. I think the top 2 will be Slough and Streatham like last year. But yeah, that's quite a fun packed game that it sounded. Yeah, I mean, nine goals.
Goals, but it's 3-1 to Slough, 3-1 to Solent. Sorry, with just under 10 minutes to go.
Yeah.
I tell you, one of my friends who's down in Solent, she texted me, and she was like, "We're winning 3-1," and I was like, "Cool, hold on to that. That'll be some result."
Yeah.
And she texted me again like 2 minutes later, like, "It's 3-2, it's 3-3, it's 4-3, it's 5." She's like, "I'm never texting you again." But yeah, I think Slough, as you say, Slough and Streatham, they're like, especially after the last couple of years of how Slough have improved. Slough and Streatham, they're like Batman and the Joker. They're destined to do this forever, just backwards and forwards against each other. The two played in a challenge weekend as well in pre-season.
Yeah,
it was 10-10 over the 2 games. It was.
Yeah, I think Streatham won 5-4 in the hangar, and then on the high road it was Slough did the same. It was the other way.
9-9 then across.
Yeah, 9-9.
Nice. But that's just. And if you look at the games between them last year, I mean, I was at the hangar for the first one where Slough went 2-0 up. They were 2-0 up with 10 minutes to go, and Streatham come back and won 3-2. It was
3-2, yeah.
Astonishing game. But that's, I mean, what a tough start for the Jets to have 2 games against the Red Hawks, and then go down to Gosport and play in that ring against that team.
Yeah.
I say it to Muzza, they should never, ever, ever lose a home game, ever.
No, because no one else will know that ice better than them. Because I don't play hockey, but I can guarantee you most hockey players will say it is a crap rink to play at, especially if you're not a Solent player. It's hard because Solent fans are quite loud as well. It's atmospheric where it's so small. It fills up really quickly. It's an atmospheric rink. It's hard to go and play there.
I don't like smaller ice because they don't have to skate as much.
Yeah. I don't know how, but icing still gets called.
Every time I go in there, I look at it and smile. I'm like, this is great.
I love it. I honestly prefer it over some of the other rinks in the league. I think it's a great rink, but it's great for how crap it is, pretty much.
The people down there are lovely. The atmosphere is incredible, and you never, ever, ever get a bad game in Solent. It's always good.
No, I mean, as a Stars fan, I've seen many bad games, but never had a bad game in Solent. I can recall a lot of good games in Solent.
But also on that Saturday night, the Chieftains were back in action, and the Dynamos got their first out in this Challenge Cup, which I think is only really including Slough, Streatham, Invicta and Chelmsford.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously we've got only the 8 teams in the league, so we've obviously got less fixtures. And from what I understand, this was a complete flip reversal performance from the Chieftains.
Yeah.
Solent game, they were really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly the response you want if you're a Chelmsford fan. You want that response. Cliff probably would have been very happy, especially from the weekend before playing Solent like that. But yeah, it's a good response back. But obviously, it didn't work the weekend after, unfortunately, for them. So
the day after, wasn't it? I mean,
the day after, game after.
One win for the Chieftains in Invicta. Cameron Pywell getting on the board for Invicta. Cam Bartlett, Alan Lack, and 2 from Sasha Maltsev, who just gets better and better year on year. I love it. Yeah,
great player. I mean, when I've been tweeting at games, he's always a name that I'm typing if I'm at Chelmsford. Great player.
Yeah, but he's the only import at Chelmsford this year.
Yeah, it can be a good thing. It can be a bad thing. But no, if he's doing the job, which he always does. Well done to him.
As we said earlier, talking about the price and the roster and the stuff going on at Chelmsford, should they really, if they want to be, I mean, they've won trophies obviously in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Continue on that winning streak. Do they need a 7 to 9 point per weekend import?
Probably, especially like we said with the price that they're charging to watch a game. If you're going to try and win more trophies, which I think they potentially will probably do. I mean, it all depends, obviously. But if they're going to start charging £16 or £17.50, they probably should have another, like you said, 7 to 9 point scoring weekend import. It attracts people. It does attract people because if you've got an import and they're really good, people will want to come and watch.
Yeah, and obviously I don't really know how it really works. Cliff told me when they found Damon Porter, that was just a bit of pot luck, really.
Mm.
Dix would have been similar. The guy that's at Billingham Stars, Ian Brown, I mean, what a find he was for them up there.
Yeah.
Solihull Barons, I think I've just signed a lad called Jake Riley from Australia. Israel looks incredible. Like, I think, he's really going to fit in here. So it must be so difficult to try and find someone who's eligible to play here, maybe even as an import, maybe a dual national. Yeah,
I think that's an issue with most clubs as well, trying to find an import and then housing them, because it's not just finding one, it's then housing them, making sure they've got the right documentation, things like that, getting them a job. It's a difficult process. But like we keep going back to, if you want to win trophies and charge that amount, you've got to do that. I think you have to do that.
Games. So the following day, then the Sunday, that saw a couple of games. This Challenge Cup again saw Invicta travel to Streatham. A Sunday night on the high road is always a tough one. It's especially now you're getting a bit darker and a bit colder.
Yeah.
Right opposite that Streatham Common, and it's quite a daunting place to go, actually.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's just a daunting place to go anyways, but especially on a Sunday night, especially if you played the night before as well. But, I mean, from the score line, Invicta seemed to do a pretty good job. I mean, only conceding 2 at the high road, I think, is a pretty damn good job they've done there. But obviously they didn't score and they didn't win. So probably not obviously what they wanted. I mean, no one wants to lose, but I would have been happy with that if I was an Invicta fan.
Positives to take absolutely out of that defeat. 59 saves from Brad Winterbank is a good night.
Yeah,
on the high road.
Great night for him.
But that's and it's that between those two. It's one of those funny fixtures that can sometimes just throw a spanner amongst the pigeons. Because I think they went there a couple of years ago and won 3-0 Invicta. Shutting out the high road, which is like they're unheard of.
It is unheard of. I mean, a lot of people winning at the high road is unheard of. Only a handful of times I can think of teams that have even won, let alone had a shutout. But yeah.
You'd have been used to a dicking or two, wouldn't you, on the high road going there with Oxford?
I think I remember on one of my really young birthdays, I probably was about 8, I remember losing 15-2. So it was my birthday. I was probably about 8, like I said, and I'll never forget that.
Yeah, no, it's I've been down there with Chelmsford on a Saturday night and seen them lose 6-0, and it's not a nice trip home after that.
No, but I mean, as a Stars fan, I did see us beat them at the Oxburns, not last season before, and that's still my favourite game I think I've ever watched.
2, wasn't it, I think?
Pardon?
3-2, I think.
Yeah, 3-2 it was. Pretty sure it was 3-2. I just remember we won, and that was the highlight of my season.
Well, the other game that night then was you were at down at the So take it away. Tell us about that game.
I mean, I went down obviously with no hockey. Swindon is probably one of the closer to get to, and obviously with a few of my old Oxford teammates playing at, thought we'd pop down. First period, I mean, the first period was obviously just the 1-0 from Swindon, but it was sort of a goal that I weren't really expecting. Chelmsford were really going at Ben Clark-Leach, which had an amazing performance. He's a really good goalie, really, really good goalie. But the goal came from, I think, their second or third chance from Swindon. But yeah, it just came out of nowhere. And then the second period, they just scored 2 goals in like space of 2-3 minutes. Jake Williams again and Alfie Goddard, 16-year-old, I'm pretty sure. Going to be a great player. If this is what he's performing like at 16, he is going to be top tier.
I think he bagged 4 points on his debut weekend last year when he came in like on his 16th birthday.
Yeah, that was against Stars. Yeah, he had a good game then, and from what I watched, he played very well against Chalmo. And then third period, obviously, Cam Bartlett scored Chelmsford's only goal, but it was a great goal. No one was saving that, I don't think. It was a really good goal. But other than that, Chelmsford just didn't really show up. They didn't show up from what I saw. It just seemed like they weren't bothered in a way until like the last 5 minutes. I know there was a bit of a incident at the end where the buzzer went, and about 10 seconds after they kept shooting, and then it all sort of kicked off, but nothing happened. But other than the last 5 minutes, it just feels like they just didn't bother in a way. But
normally after you'd score a goal, particularly if you've got 7 minutes left, you'd see a push. But there wasn't one really. Not really.
I mean, obviously they scored at 53-20. But after that, I mean, yeah, probably the last 5-7 minutes there was more of a push. But I mean, Clark-Leach weren't letting nothing past him. But they didn't. From what I've watched at Chelmsford before, if most of the time if they score one, they'll end up scoring about 4 or 5. It just weren't going in, and the push wasn't until the last 5 minutes.
And that has been a symptom, I suppose, actually, of Cliff's Chelmsford, is that they score bunches of goals in quick succession, and then that's how they beat you. It's just hard to come back from that.
Hard to come back from it, yeah.
I think that's how they won the playoffs. That's how they won the cup last year. It was goals in bunches.
I mean, the amount of times I've been at Chelmsford, whether it's with Stars or not, as soon as they score one, within the next minute or two, they've probably scored a second. but it weren't going in for them. Like I've said, Ben Clark-Leach pulled out an amazing performance as per usual, and they didn't seem like they wanted it really.
No, they've got, as like I said, they've got a little bit of time. They've got a few games coming up where they can try and put it right.
Mhm.
We'll see how they come out. So we move on to the weekend just gone, where it's a little bit more busy. There's a couple of games in there that we haven't covered. Once we've done the league fixtures, we'll have a little look at the Welsh Cup as well. Cardiff and for D-side. But there was only one game on the Saturday. I was actually at that one. I was on the commentary with Matty Udall for Romford Buccaneers against Invicta Dynamos. It was the first league game for Romford. Again, they hadn't had a pre-season.
No.
And that was clear. It was, and I said to Karl Lennon after the game, he said, "What did you think of the game?" And I said, in honest, it was scrappy. And that's exactly what it was. It was, to be fair, both sides. It was the first period was not a terrific watch. It was quite hard work, to be honest. The first period. Romford had this young lad, Nathan Iowami, who I hope I pronounced that right, Nathan. Apologies if I butchered it. He was terrific in the first period. He was a proper shining light for the Buccaneers. He was picking up everything, running at them. They were pressing the Dynamos really high and forcing errors, which is where they got their first goal from, was from forcing an error. And it was a lovely little finish where they sort of faced off on the right-hand side and he flicked it in towards the near post. And Nikolai Deval kind of got his shoulder up there and the puck kind of bounced between his shoulder and the post.
Oh.
Dropped behind. And I was the only one who saw it. I was over at the corner. I was like, that's in. You could see the puck sitting behind the line. And then it was like, yeah. But the second period, the Dynamos were terrific. They put so much pressure on the Buccaneers. And from that point on, every goal they scored was a forced error.
Yeah.
Put so much pressure on. I mean, Nathan Iowami, again, he found out in the third period that you cannot try and deke and dangle yourself out of your own defensive zone at this level, because you will get pickpocket.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. And I think it was the fourth goal that did that. But there was some terrific goals. Jacob Ranson got a really good goal in the second period. It was comfortable sort of first away league game for him, for Dynamos being back on what was home ice for the last few years.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were the Dynamos for me. I was pleasantly surprised actually how good they were. They've not been. I don't think anyone's written them off. And a lot of people, when we did all the build-ups, were sort of saying top three would be Solent, Streatham, Chelmsford. Then you got Invicta and Solent, and then people below. I think a lot of people now, and myself as well, will be re-evaluating that slightly.
Yeah, I mean, I've always seen Dynamos as a tricky place to go. Again, the rink it's hard ice to play on. But as a team, I've always thought they were pretty damn strong. I mean, looking at the penalties as well, them having only 3 penalties all game, that's insane.
I think they were all too many men.
Except one, which was at the very start, Regan O'Neill's tripping penalty. But for Invicta to only have 3 penalties, that they deserve that win, to be honest. That's insane.
Through the course of the evening, there was 4 too many men penalties. And it's just where the benches at Romford, obviously they're so long and so thin, that literally everyone's just across them. I think people were coming out of the fire gates, people were coming in the near one. Because
there's 2 gates for each side. Yeah. Just
getting called every single time. And it was, to be fair, the first few times it happened to the Dynamos, they never got the full 2 minutes. So, like, Romford would go in they went in for a hook-in. And then before they got the full 2 minutes, Dynamos were called for too many men. So they never got that full 2 minutes. And neither team were particularly good on the power play. You could see better signs from Invicta, particularly that top power play line. The Canadian defenseman, Daniel Gatenby, he was on the point. And everything kind of went through him. But you get the feeling he's got the ability to unleash one from the blue line as well, if need be.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've heard and seen, he seems like a brilliant signing for the Dynamos. I think he's going to be one of their top players to keep an eye on.
Yeah, he got a couple of goals over the weekend as well. He's in a similar mould to Dylan Dix, but I wouldn't have said as physical. Not quite as physical as Dix, but he comes forward with the puck really, really well.
puck really, really, yeah. I mean, for him to get his first goal, brilliant. Like I said, he seems like he's a good signing for Dynamos, and I think, like you said, there's going to be one or two soon where he's going to just absolutely power it from the blue line, and it's just going to be an amazing goal.
It was a nice little finish, actually, his goal. It was he kind of redirected it from the slot, but it came across really quickly, and he just used the speed of the puck and the angle on the stick to just angle it perfectly away from Max. Who again, I mean, Max Van Mullen is, what a goalie he is. He's a
great goalie.
And you've got to give it up to Nikolai Duval as well, who played that night for the Moes. They both took man of the match, both rightly so as well. Both.
Yeah, probably deserved.
Yeah, terrific young goalies. And then Sunday gave us, nothing short of proper excitement, because Slough and Streatham went at it again in the league.
Streatham obviously taking the win. But again, like I've said, it's going to be Slough and Streatham. That is what it's going to be. But at the High Road, but yeah, I mean, it's one of them games where it was Streatham take the lead, then Slough equalise, take the lead, then Streatham take the lead, then Slough will take the lead again, and then just Streatham just with the last two goals. And
yeah, it was a late equaliser to take it to OT.
Yeah.
I mean, Danny Ingle's been made the team of the week this week, or the stars of the week from ZPG.
Mhm.
The guy is just non-stop dingle dangle.
Been a great player for many seasons. Yeah, great player, and that's what he's there for. He scores goals like no tomorrow, really, don't he?
He does. That season he wasn't there. They really missed him. And I think these last 2 years, he's become a proper catalyst of how they play, how they score goals. And rightly this year has been given an A on his chest as well, which is very thoroughly deserved.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I mean, Slough will probably be a bit disappointed with it, because obviously it's horrible to lose in overtime, because you feel like you're halfway there. And obviously with the late equaliser, they probably thought, we've got this. But it's one of them things. And
it's still a point at the end of the day. It's still a point.
It's still a point that they've got on the table.
And also on that Sunday was, these two teams have been going head to head in league games, playoff games, cup games, all sorts for years. It's always entertaining. Invicta against Solent, and this one again was just full on excitement.
Yeah. I mean, any close game like 3-2 means great performances from the forwards, but also great from the D-men. For only 5 goals to be scored by them teams together. But yeah, again, great game. It was where Solent led, then Invicta equalised, then Solent took the lead again, and then Invicta just took the win.
The timing of the goals for me is what makes it really, really interesting, because when Mark Pitts put Solent up on 4 minutes, you could be forgiven for thinking they're set now. They've got that early little, that first little bit out of the way. The systems are set. They've got 1. They're going to push on you. They're going to get 2. They're going to get 3. But Evan Chard equalised, another terrific young player coming through Invicta before the end of the first. But the goal in the second goal from Mark Pitts at 39:56, when you score a goal to go ahead with 4 seconds left in the period.
Exactly how you want to end a period.
But it didn't seem to really push them on.
Which is strange, because you think it would be. But then it also, Invicta probably, they all had a chat probably, and Karl probably said, look, you've got to go and get the equaliser. But again, it's with like 4:45 to go. So you thought Solent would have scored by then in the third period, but it
must have been a bit of a, as you say, not many penalties either in the game. Only 4 penalties in total, 3 for Solent, 1 for the Dynamos.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would imagine that obviously we weren't there. We'd love to get to every game if we could. We'd absolutely love it. If everyone streamed, we'd love to have a little bank of tellies. We watch it. Coming out at the start of that second period, and I don't think that any two coaches know each other's games better than these two guys.
Because they see each other. They see each other all the time, more than they should each season.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that the Dynamos will probably come out in that second, and
I'll disagree with you, actually. I don't think it would have been, let's get the equaliser. I think it's come out for the second, do not concede. Do not concede again.
Yeah. I mean, it's a really weird one because, I mean, obviously they did concede with 4 seconds to go, but if I'm a Dynamo, you're at your own brink, you've got to go on and try and get that second in the second period to take the lead. But obviously it doesn't matter because they took the win anyways.
They got the equaliser with 5 minutes to go. Again, Daniel Gatenby getting the goal.
Yeah.
Andy Smith converting the resulting penalty from the shootout. I think I was following it along on Twitter. I think there was quite a few misses. So I think it actually only ended up 2-1 on penalties in the end.
Penalties, yeah.
But, penalty shots is a great way to win a game. Horrible way to lose a game.
Worst to lose, best to win. I prefer a penalty shootout if you win it than winning in overtime.
That's interesting.
I think I do, yeah. I think because you get excited when someone misses, whereas in the overtime you don't. You just sort of like, oh, they've missed. Whereas when obviously it's opposition,
it's like scoring yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like you've scored a goal, but no, the opposition have missed.
Yeah. I think I actually look at it from the other way, that I like an overtime win because the euphoria is still a shock. Because in a shootout, obviously you know he's trying to score. So if he scores, you're prepared for yes or for oh no. Whereas in overtime, I think it's still like playing the game.
Yeah, of course it is.
So.
I think the only thing I don't like with overtime is just how it's just so competitive, and I'm too much of a competitive person, so I'm a really bad loser in overtime. But I think that's as much as I'd love to win all. But I just think winning in penalty shootout, there's something fun about that.
Well, overtime tends to be cagey because you don't want to be the person that makes the mistake.
Exactly, and there's only 3 of you on the ice.
Yeah.
So, as a player, I think, I don't know from a player perspective. I have to probably ask someone what they prefer, but
I think I have in the past. I can't quite remember who, but I definitely think that we've said about what how do you prefer to win a tied game, be it in overtime or penalty shots. But I do remember from the Steel City Showdown in April, the overtime period from Billingham Stars against Slough Jets was mental. I've never seen such a dominant overtime period like from Slough. They dominated it from start right the way to when Billingham got that breakaway and Roland Gittans just stuck it in the top shelf. Which, I mean, the video, I think, I was tagged in the video on Instagram. I think it had like 40,000 views. It was an astonishing moment, the way he broke it and tucked it away. And I mean, things like that. That's why we're fans of the sport, isn't it? Because those Billingham fans will never, ever forget that day.
Oh, no, of course not. Honestly, there's something like, and I think that's why everyone follows it. You feel like united with your team when you win such a special moment like that. It's truly magical.
And it was good that the Dynamos and the Devils were able to give us one of those nice and early in the season.
Yeah, great for them sets of fans.
It was. Well, there was also, excuse me, I'm just going to locate the details because they are not league games, so they were not on the NIHL stats breakdown. Massive shout to Joe Scutts for everything he does with NIHL stats. We don't know where we would be without him, to be perfectly honest.
We're going on to the Cardiff-Swindon game, aren't we?
Yes, that was Sunday just gone, wasn't it? The first league game for the Fire. And I'll be honest, someone from Fire messaged me after I'd done the Swindon preview and said, do you really think they're going to be that good this year? Because we were looking at that as one of the games that we could try and take points from. And I said, yeah, I think Swindon are going to be really good this year.
Yeah, I think for a team that have come up, or come from nothing really, last season was always going to be tricky for them. But I think for a starting season, I mean, they did pretty all right for a starting season. But they come out and obviously they had that 6-1 loss against Swindon and Solent. But they've come out in the next 2 games and just completely dominated both of them.
Yeah, to go there and win 4-0 was obviously Cardiff used to that nice big pad as well.
Yeah.
Try and make it difficult for people to play there. We'll hear from Ellis Shepherd a little later on. the coach. But yeah, I think that was to score 3 power play goals as well. That was a dominant performance from Ken's boys, I think.
Yeah, 100%, and they're all different goal scorers as well. So yeah, obviously from Cal, Forshee, Charlie Turner, who was Charlie got 2 goals, and then obviously Jake with the 3rd and Charlie with the 4th again. Every
game for Jake Williams as well. That's a terrific start.
Yeah, I mean 3 goals now in 3 games, goal a game. Great for them. But also Ben Neversell with all 4 assists.
Yeah, you can't buy that kind of experience with a young team like Swindon.
That's exactly that's exactly someone who they need.
Yeah, and I mean, so it was Cardiff's first league game.
Yes.
They've retained a lot of their roster. A couple of new players in there. I'm looking forward to seeing Alfie Stone in the flesh. He seems quite an interesting little prospect. They don't seem to have Luther Daly anymore, which is a bit of a shame because he was quite good last year. I think
he's a good player, yeah.
Very keen Hong Kong international.
Again, it's just a lot of teams really. They haven't really expanded, but then again, they haven't lost too many. It's very similar.
I think they've kept catalysts. They've kept Big Rig Joe, and they've kept the captain Stevens.
Yeah.
Joining us in a couple of weeks on the podcast as well. So they've kept the people that they needed to keep, and they're starting to build around it. Danny Williams is a big loss.
Yeah, obviously he's gone down to Oxford Rising. Because he's a goal scorer as well. He always loved to put a few in for Cardiff. Obviously losing a goal scorer is always shit, but it's shocking really. Like I was shocked because I thought it would be a better game for Cardiff. But clearly Swindon just too dominant all throughout 60 minutes.
Yeah, and when I spoke to Ken earlier this week, I said to him, look, I really fancy them to notch some results this year that people will look at and go, weren't quite expecting that.
Yeah, I mean, already, but like two of the games that they played, the last 2, Cardiff and Chelmsford, they clearly just had brilliant performances and they're doing exactly what Ken wants, and it's working.
So for Cardiff, they did have a couple of games previous to starting in the league because we had the Welsh Cup that came back last year after a long time away. And last year, I remember Danny Williams was actually on like the week after the Welsh Cup had taken place.
Ooh.
And Katelin disappeared there.
I'm back.
I think it was 5-5 in D-side, and then it was like 7-6 or something back in Cardiff. It was a bonkers game. And we do realise now, especially from having the Steel City Showdown, there's a difference between the way that northern teams play and southern teams play. There's a different style.
Yeah. I think the Northern League is probably more known as not violent, but it's more physical. And I think that's also, where Cardiff probably struggled.
Yeah, possibly. I know that there was a few penalties as well, particularly in the game at D-side, but 8-4 on aggregate in the end. I think it was both 4-2 both times. Cardiff and in D-side. So congratulations to D-side and everyone up there for their second consecutive Welsh Cup. Obviously, we've been not quite as active as we were last year. So last year we did speak to the head coach of D-side, and we kind of made a bit of a big fuss about it all. But give us a little bit of time to, obviously, we're starting something a little bit fresh here. Now, obviously, with myself and Katelin doing these roundups, and we'll be getting our interview episodes and stuff booked in pretty soon as well, so we can start bringing you all that content. So that's all the games that's gone on so far in the Britton Division. I'm going to throw you completely under the bus here because we haven't prepped any of this. We spoke earlier, obviously, with the Huskies and the Phantoms 2 incident. The start of the season in IHL 2 has been mental.
It has.
5 games all over the place.
I mean, we've both said it's going to be a great league this year. I do think it's very much worth watching. But yeah, it's just been crazy. Goals galore, which, I mean, shock for the start of the season. Most players are just sort of a bit rusty from being inactive over the summer. But no, they've gone straight in there, and it's been great game wise. But obviously, physically, there's been a few fights, obviously with the Haringey one. But Yeah, no, I think it's going to be a good league to keep an eye on this year.
There's always fights with Mustangs as well because Aaron Ferris just loves it.
Yeah.
So, when they play the Warriors, you're going to have Ferris and you have Nick Green, and that's going off.
Just at puck drop, just go.
I mean, how do you think the Rising Stars are going to fit into that league?
It's a weird one. Obviously, I think what they're trying to do is obviously be up there, which it would be great for them. But I don't think they will overtake people like Haringey, Peterborough, Guildford. I don't think they will overtake them. Obviously, I don't think they've had a great start. They obviously lost to Mustangs and lost to Haringey. But yeah, it's a weird one. It's a really weird one. I think what they're trying to do is obviously win up, like be up top of the league. But I just don't think it's going to work. I just think. Sorry, go ahead.
Competitive, like the roster that the Huskies have put together. There's so much NHL 1 talent in that roster. Exactly,
and that's where I think Rising Stars are what they're gonna see. That I think which they already have seen already. But yeah, I think they'll have a very similar season to last year.
We'll have to have a look when the Rising Stars are playing the Warriors in Chelmsford and see if we can both get there and do some content at that game.
Yeah, it would be a good place, good time to meet.
Have a look at the table then. As much as as it means nothing after 4 weeks, and some teams playing 4 games, some teams playing 1 game. But we'll have a little look at the table, and as we run down it, we will hear from the corresponding coach, if we have heard from that corresponding coach. As always, I massively appreciate all the time that the coaches give to the podcast. The ones that always have as well. It's so appreciated. I know that you're really busy guys, but we'll start with one that we have got. We're starting right at the top with the Solent Devils, and those who have listened for a while will know that Muzzer does like his coach's thoughts bit.
Yeah.
Good talker. He's a very honest speaker. Apologies for the sound quality on this. I think he may well have been outdoing his horse, but let's have a little listen to Muzzer.
Here we are, first month back after a sort of long summer, which was nice. Really back on the show, so thanks, Ben. Appreciate it a lot for continuing going, and going to enjoy this new theme of monthly roundups, and we'll try and keep it as short as possible. So summer was good for us. We retained lots of the team. We only pretty much lost Sutts, Leo Harris, and we only really added Liam Kennington on 2-way from Guildford. So the team remained pretty much the same. Duffy's taken a bit more of a coaching role now, as well as supporting the goaltenders. So, pretty much run it back, and a little bit disappointed with how we ended last year. So guys were eager to start this year well, and we did. Pre-season game against our second team to kind of get us ready for the amount of away games we had to start us off. And couldn't have asked for a better start with 6-1 win in Swindon. Guys played really well up and down the lineup. I think we dominated that game, and the pre-season game the night before I think really helped us. Power play was looking good that night as well, so that was a real positive to kick off the season. And then we went to Chelmsford the weekend after, and that's a tough place to play. And we actually stuck with the same game plan that we created for the Cup final. I thought it, as stupid as it may sound, it worked. It worked both home and away. We just switched off for 5 minutes in both games, and it cost us. Although the away game we kind of switched off, we didn't really switch off. We had to push to get the goals to bring us back. So, we ran back the same plan, and it worked to a T. I thought Aaron played stellar in goal. Our shutdown line worked really well, and our goal scorers did the job. We scored again some power play goals, which was really positive. And another game that probably should have been a shutout. Both games, I think, probably in the first two could have been a shutout. But they gave Lackey's goal and ended 3-1 in Chelmo, and spirits are high and into the first home game of the season, which was Slough at home, and we took a 3-1 lead in that. And I think we weathered a lot of their storm. They're a fast physical team. And yeah, there was a few controversial moments. The game misconduct really turned the game in their favour for a kicking that never was. If anyone's following me on social media, you'd have seen my post of a goal that never was, which cost us. It dropped us down to 5D. It shortened our lineup. We were already short as it was. We had to kill off a penalty, which we didn't need to kill off because it was an incident that really they started. And yeah, we got into the third. We were tired. They'd really run us down. Physical, fast team, running lots of lines, and we had to weather one more storm. We just couldn't do it. I think they pulled one back to make it 3-2, and then we were still leading with 8 minutes to go. And then unfortunately they got one and two quickly, and we pushed at the end. So disappointing to lose that game. And there were lots of positives, but yeah, disappointing to lose that game in the end, especially as we were leading with 8 minutes to go. And I think the same could be said for Invicta. We were leading with 4 minutes to go, or maybe 2 minutes to go, and we conceded a power play goal. It was a nice goal from their import D-man who walked the line a little bit and fired one into the top of the net. But Aaron played again a hell of a game. We played a great game plan. We just made a mistake, and I'm saying that a lot on this roundup. We made one mistake, two mistakes, and they lead to goals against and into overtime. It's pretty much a dead rubber in the shootout. We led the entire time. We scored early. We made lots of, Aaron made lots of saves. We probably had 4 or 5 chances to score to win the shootout, and we didn't. And then up steps Andy Smith, blast from the past, and yeah, that was it. So overall, I think we could have been sat here talking undefeated. We've only actually been behind in the game for about 4 minutes this season, and that's a real strange feeling to have. But there's plenty of positives. The lineup is good. We're hoping to have some guys return from absences soon. Even though we're 4 weeks into the season, we got a lot of guys off. So fingers crossed we can get guys back. And we've got a massive doubleheader this weekend coming up in Victor Romford, and we're looking forward to it.
Well, I mean, as you said there, going for the same game plan as they did in the cup final, people will probably shake their heads at that because of how the cup final last year's score went. But I was at the first leg, I was at both legs, but when I was doing the commentary on Twitter for the first game, he's spot on. They literally, they switched off for 5 minutes of that game and they lost 4-1. It was bonkers.
Mhm. Yeah, it's weird. It's like they've had a hard start to the season. They've obviously played the most games. But like Alex has said there, they've been behind for probably altogether less than 10 minutes. But they've come away with 2 losses, which he'll be shaking his head at that. Like he said, he will be shaking his head, and that's probably something they'll need to improve on, is conceding within the last 5 minutes. But I agree with him. They could be talking unbeaten there, and they probably should be. But last 5 minutes of the game clearly killed them both times.
Yeah, like I said, they've got a hard weekend this weekend as well coming up, where they're going to. They've got the Invicta and Streatham, I think, this weekend. He said.
Yeah. Tough weekend that.
So we'll move. They're sitting at the top. Played 4-1-2, 1 overtime loss, 1 loss. Goal difference of 3. 7 points, can get a max of 79, which is ironic because it's the lowest of the top 6 teams, but that's just because they've not played many games.
Yes.
Going into second place, and very deservedly, as we said, in second place, are the Swindon Wildcats too. So let's have a look at what Kenny had to say about the start of the season.
So yeah, pretty good start to the season for us. 2 wins and 1 loss to start out here. If you would have told us we'd start 2-1 back in the summer when we seen the first 3 games, what was on the schedule, I think we would have taken that. First game against Solent, I thought we were a little slow out of the gate, didn't really have our skating legs underneath us. Maybe we were a little bit underprepared for the game, no friendly. I kind of flew back into the country on August the 30th or whatever it was, and we kind of had a week's preparation to get ready for Solent and just didn't quite work out. Not taking anything away from Solent, as always. Alex's team always competes hard, and they were fully deserving of the win on the day. But obviously after that game, we knew we needed to get better, get our legs underneath us. A couple good practices to prepare for Chelmsford and then Cardiff, and fortunately enough, we won both games. So I thought we've been good in the 2 wins in our D-zone coverage. I thought we've been good in the neutral zone. We've also been really good with discipline, not taking any stupid penalties. And in the Cardiff game in particular, I think 3 of the 4 goals were power play goals for us. So the power play was clicking. Again, going back again against Chelmsford, I just thought we limited their opportunities. We did a good job. They're a team that can score goals. They got a lot of offense, and we did a good job against them off the rush and also in our own end. So, we've only given up 1 goal in our past 2 games, and we have to continue to be stingy defensively. And like I said earlier, the power play was really good against Cardiff. We need to keep that going. That was when we were successful in the second half last year. Our power play was really good. So lots to work on, and lots of positives so far. And we're just going to keep going and keep getting these young kids prepared week in, week out, and doing the best job that we can. And on top of that, too, I just like to say welcome back to Ben and 0 Pucks Given. I'm really happy you guys are doing this again, and welcome aboard, Katelin. I think you guys are good for our league, and keep up the good work, and hopefully be able to talk to you quite often. Cheers, guys.
Oh, that's terrific, that from Kelly. I hadn't heard that bit at the end.
Oh, yeah, I heard it. Thanks, Ken. Really appreciate it.
You can't argue with anything he said there. He's spot on.
Yeah, like I said to you, he's hit the head of the nail there. Really hit the head of the nail. They are gonna. I think they're gonna. If they carry on the way they are playing, they're gonna have a good season ahead of them.
I think as well, they're the only team at this level, Romford Buccaneers possibly, that have got this really clear pathway.
Mm-hmm.
Juniors to NHL 1 South to National League. It's really clear, and players like Ben Clark Leach have done that. They've gone in the juniors, in the NHL 1, then have gone up to the national, and they've impressed.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a junior there, you're not going to want to leave, because if you have been told or you think that you are good enough to then go on and play national, you're going to stick at Swindon, because like you said, they've got the clear pathway. They've got all throughout years of juniors, and then you go straight to NHL 1, which is a tough league to get in as a junior, but a lot of their juniors are good enough for it. And then if they progress even further as they get older, they've got the Swindon Wildcats to go to.
Yeah, it's a great setup there. They're, like I said, in the pre-season build-ups, I think they're going to have a great year.
Yeah.
And Kenny's just all of the coaches in this league have just been so terrific with us, giving us access and their coaches' thoughts and inviting us to go to the games and stuff. And Kenny's straight off the back with that one as well. It's terrific to see, because the clubs are doing a bit better with their social media. I know the Wildcats have stepped it up a little bit. They're posting quite a lot on a lot of different forums. Yeah,
I mean, obviously, me being the social media manager last year, I know how to do it, and they've stepped up from last year, and they're really promoting their games. But yeah, I think a lot of teams are. Social media is a massive part of the sport now. So to see clubs progressing it's nice.
And you obviously know how hard it is as well.
How hard work it is. It's hard work, really, really hard work, especially when you're doing it very in depth. I mean, I know last year there would be weeks where I was spending 15 hours of my time at games, editing, filming, a lot of late nights. And obviously, as a student, it's hard work, but it's all worth it. Very, very, very rewarding.
Well, the Wildcats are sitting there in second. They've played 3-1-2, just that one defeat, which was the first game of the season against Solent. They've got a goal difference of +1. They've got 6 points. They can achieve a max of 81, having played obviously one less game than the Solent Devils. So let's move into third place then with the Invicta Dynamos. Obviously they've played twice in the league and they've played in this Challenge Cup as well, so they're starting to get their feet under the table. And let's have a little catch up with Karl Lennon.
Yeah, quite happy to take the 5 out of the 6 points that were available to us this weekend. And we obviously faced in Romford and in Solent 2 very different teams. On Saturday, of course, a young team that pretty much sort of newly established, I guess, a few changes from last season. And I guess we went in there a little uncertain of what to expect. They started really strong and we, were chasing immediately in the game. And, I honestly felt like whilst we had huge periods of dominance in terms of possession and chances, we just couldn't put the puck past the young lad in net. And finally, we managed to break through. Andy Smith picking up his first goal of the season. Of course, first one since being back from his retirement, and a pretty special moment. And then goals followed by Rani and then Cam and then finally by Aaron right at the end, sort of sealed the deal for us. And I think made it look like a comfortable night's work, and in spells it was, and in spells it wasn't. It was a bit of a sort of basketball game in some moments, but nonetheless we got the job done. And then of course when we went back to home on Sunday against Solent, a very different proposition, a very structured, well organised team, and Alex's team was always come to compete, and they did exactly that. So it was not an easy contest, and we put ourselves in a difficult space right at the start where we conceded from a deflected tip from around the net, and we're chasing, and thankfully Evan Chard popped up with a really nice finish from the wing toward the sort of back end of the first period, and that saw us tied. And through the second we were very level as teams. We probably had equal amounts of chances, and we sort of turned the screw a little bit as the period went on and felt like we were going to get into a really good spot at the very end there, and overcommitted, and ultimately, paid the price. They had an on-man rush and put the puck away, and I think with like 3 or 4 seconds left of the period, we're down a goal again, and super frustrating because up until that point I thought, we were doing really well and probably with a better side, and then meaning we'd had to chase, that final period to get us back in. And yeah, obviously I was not happy with the boys during the period break, and I told them so, and they reacted, which was amazing. The final period I thought we were pretty dominant throughout. Of course, they had a few chances, but we looked like the team that was going to score. And finally, in the big moment when we had a power play, Andy Smith popped out behind the back of the goal, and I passed out to Danny Gattenby at the point and straight in the top corner, and that took us to OT. And I think throughout the OT period, we probably were the more dominant side. We looked more mobile on the puck, and we had some good scoring chances. We just couldn't really finish them. And we're off to a shootout, and I guess in hindsight, had I known the result, I probably would have taken it for the sort of poetic nature that it concluded in, really. But Windy was absolutely fantastic throughout that shootout. I think he had 6 or 7 saves on them, and we were fortunate with Regan to keep us in it when we were 1 down after the first 3. And we went to sudden death, and of course, man of the moment pops up and gets the game winner. So Andy was built for those moments. He's always delivered in those situations from my experience. And yeah, I think he was probably himself quite nervous leading up into that shot that he took, but he finished it with great composure, and ultimately, between him and Windy, we got the result. And I kind of felt a bit like the weekend started with him and finished with him, actually, and it was a really nice moment for him to have that in our building in front of our fans. And yeah, it was a special night. So we go again this weekend against Solent on Saturday away from home, and then Slough on Sunday. And we expect nothing less than a really tough weekend ahead of us. So big week of preparation ahead. Cheers.
Yeah, that's a tough weekend coming up for them.
Yeah. When he said that, I was like, oh.
It's interesting that he said the 4th goal against Romford was Aaron Connolly and not Danny Gattenby, because in commentary I said it was Aaron Connolly.
So you were right.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of that happens. A lot of that happens, I think, and until it gets brought up to the ref, I don't think they'll change it.
It went on the card as Gattenby's goal, and it's gone to NHL stats as Gattenby's goal. But I'd say it was difficult because in Victor's away jersey, the nameplate is in like a white block, so you can read the name, but then the number is the same colour as the jersey, just got a white outline.
Oh, yeah.
Difficult to see. It's nothing like the Peterborough Phantoms jerseys. Their white Wendy's jerseys have like a thin orange line and then a white number. And it's like you look at it, you're like, which one's that?
Which one?
Yeah, unless they've got a really unique skating style like Jacob Ranson or something that you can pick out, from miles.
You wouldn't be able to tell.
No,
but no, I think Invicta, they're going to have a good season this year. Again, like we said previously, I think their new import is going to be highlight for them. Already scored, obviously one of them potentially not his, but it's gone down as his. No, I think they'll do well, and like Karl said, he's really happy about getting the 5 out of the 6 points this gone weekend.
I think they've got a good blend of youth and experience there with bringing the likes of Andy Smith back. I think he's the second oldest player in the league, possibly even the third. He might be younger than Jure Huska.
Potentially, not quite sure.
And everyone put together is younger than Neil Lydiard, so we know that he's all wrong. But yeah, I think they've got a good blend, and like you say, I think they'll have a good year. I think they'll beat the teams around them.
Mm-hmm.
And could possibly take points off of a Slough or a Streatham.
I think they'll give them a good go. Already from their result at Streatham, I think a 2-0 defeat at the High Road on a Sunday night, that's a great result to take. And I think that there proves that they're gonna try and get some points from the high teams.
And that Challenge Cup, Karl said to me Saturday night, I caught up with him briefly in the tunnel, that that Challenge Cup's virtually over for them now. They lost to Chelmsford, they lost to Streatham. It's going to be really difficult for them to
yeah.
But it's kind of like free hit games. You can try things. You can, give players a run.
Just experiment with it. If you're not really going to be competing in it, it's not really a game that obviously you still try every game, but it's not a game where if you lose you're going to be really disheartened because there's not really a point. But if they stick with it in the league, I think they could potentially finish third. So yeah,
it's a big shout.
Big shout, yeah. But if they stick with it, from the schools so far, they can do that. Anyone can, but they're going to give it a good go, I think.
Yeah, wicked. Right then, let's move on very quickly to the Slough Jets in fourth. We haven't heard actually from Smiths. We did reach out. Obviously, I appreciate he's a very busy guy. So they're sitting there in fourth, played 2-1-1, one overtime loss, of course, at the High Road. Goal difference of +2, 4 points. They're then followed by the Streatham Redhawks. Again, I've spoke to Paints, but he's a very, very, very busy guy. So they're on 1 game, 1 overtime win, which is, of course, over the Jets. The Buccaneers with that 1 defeat at home to the Dynamos. And then the Chieftains sitting down there where I'm sure they wouldn't have expected to be sitting at any point of the season, even this early, in 7th, played 2, lost 2. And then right at the bottom there, Cardiff Fire, who we were talking about, in a little bit of depth earlier about the players they've managed to keep, but perhaps their roster is a little bit smaller. They had the Welsh Cup as a bit of a warm-up. But let's see what Shep has got to say about their start and their league defeat at home to Swindon.
Yeah, so we're back for the 2025-2026 season in the NHL 1 League. Team looks slightly different to last year with a big injection of youth into the lineup. A relatively late start for us as a team. Playing our first league game this weekend. Had 2 games before that with the Welsh Cup. Unfortunately, both results were a loss at 4-2, respectively, the home and away leg. Difficult. I thought that in increments we played very well. Breakout looked good. Getting chances on net. Thought our power play looked really good as well. Just those fine margins. They took their opportunities, whereas we maybe were a bit less fortunate in our bounces as well. And then we play Swindon on our first league game home. I thought, if in all honesty, I thought we had probably the majority of the puck, the majority of the zonal pressure. I thought we played well in that respect. I think what let us down is that we just lacked that killer edge. We should have maybe put some more goals on more shots on the goalie. crashed the net a little bit more in that sense as well, and stayed out the box. We had 3 penalty kill goals against on some calls, which ultimately hurt us.
Yeah, as you said, the penalty kill was where they got hurt really in that game to Swindon, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and obviously you said they had most of the possession of the puck, but unfortunately it's a game of it's what you do with the puck, not how long you've got it. I mean, if you've got the majority of the puck for the whole 60 minutes, you've got to at least put 1 or 2 in. The fact that they've put none in just proves that there was no sort of
plan B.
Plan B, yeah. There was no plan B if they weren't gonna use the puck that they got.
I think Shep actually said a lot last year they were guilty of being wasteful with the puck when they had it for prolonged periods, which, is a shame from their point of view, but something I'm sure that they can work on and try and improve as they go through the season.
Yeah.
So that is the Britton Division table done. A massive thanks to all the coaches that sent their thoughts in, and obviously my appreciation for your time. Even if you weren't managing to get it in, I know that we'd all spoken and whatnot, but it is so good to hear from them, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It shows that they care and that they're interacting with us. It does mean a lot.
Well, it's also, I think, for the fans as well. Some of the clubs obviously do their own post-game interviews and stuff afterwards, which is always really good to hear. But what I've always enjoyed about this, and it's why we call them exclusive, because it's literally they send me a voice note on WhatsApp.
Yeah, it is. You hear it, and we then post it.
Yeah, and it's normally like a day or two after the game, so everything's kind of settled down a little bit. Because, when I've spoke to guys straight after the game, they can still be a little bit emotional, depending on which way it's gone. But it's great to hear, and they're all just fantastic talkers. And another fantastic talker that's been on the podcast before is a friend of the show, as they say, I suppose, radio-wise, and a personal friend of mine as well. Nick Rothwell, still doing his Retribe thing. He's doing so many good things with it. It's really, really growing, actually. He's been involved in doing some talks with Ice Hockey UK. He's been involved with the PWHL as well. All over the world, he's spreading the good word. So Nick wants to give us a quick reminder that Retribe is the first players' assistance program outside of the NHL. And it's not just for players. Retribe supports coaches, parents and officials too. They offer peer-to-peer support, access to some of the top sports psychologists in the UK, exclusive content, which we here at Zero Pucks Given are producing for Nick, and even anonymous drop-ins. It's not only for those struggling in the game, but also those who want to thrive through their program, Tough Through Tender. If you want to find out more or get in touch, head to www.retribe.com, which is RE-TRIVE, retribe.com, and you can get in touch with Nick through there. The podcast Retribe is out now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. 2 episodes that have come out already with some legendary names in the world of hockey, especially in the UK and from further afield as well. And Stan Marple and Mike Blaisdell, they were a lot of fun to produce those episodes. So, make sure you reach out to Nick if you are struggling, of course, and even if you're not and you just want to thrive. And if you're a player in the UK, I think the Stick Together group is still open on Facebook for you. It's for UK-based players only, so you will get a lot of peer-to-peer support in there if you need it.
Great organisation.
You listen to some of the stuff that me and Nick have put out?
I haven't. No, I haven't. I've got to say, from joining it, I've rewatched quite a few of yours on your own, but obviously this is completely new to me. But I've really enjoyed it. Really, really enjoyed it. And like I've said in my announcement post, I'm really, really looking forward to what this holds for me.
I think it's obviously it's a new direction for the podcast to take. It's because of the amount of work and effort it is. To be fair, this isn't actually taking down the work and effort for me at all. I'm still editing an episode. It just means that it's not my voice and my face the whole time, which is a nice little break. But as we'd said, privately when we were talking about this, your experience doing a club social media made you absolutely perfect for this. And what you're doing at school as well with your broadcasting and digital sport media, is it that you're doing?
No, it's just the media, broadcasting and production T-level. So it's my first year this year. I was doing a level 2 media course last year, but thankfully got on to my sort of level 3 but T-level course. yeah, no, it's always been the route I wanted to go down. It's not specifically sport, but it depends obviously how I come out of my college years. I can either go straight into a job or go to uni. If I went to uni, it'd probably be a sport media uni. But yeah, no, it's exactly what I want to be doing.
No, I think it's going to be a really good step for us. And as I kind of said when I was looking for a co-host, one of the main reasons, not only to mix up what we're doing week to week and getting, which from what you bring is a very neutral opinion because your team are actually no longer in the league.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously I support a football team as well. I support football, so I can't make every weekend a hockey game, but for the hockey games that I can get to, I will always try my best to go and see a hockey game each weekend now, because it's not just that I don't support anyone, I just miss watching hockey. That is one of the main reasons me and my mum, one of my friends, went to watch Swindon v Chalmo. But yeah, it's just the sport. Just love the sport. It's been embedded in my life pretty much from the beginning. So yeah.
Yeah, well, and of course, aside from co-hosting every week, as we move in towards the showcases towards the end of the year, we're hoping that you're going to be our representative at the Steel City Showdown.
Yes, I will be. I was supposed to be running my second half marathon, but I can run a half marathon any year, any time. This is an opportunity I couldn't turn down, so I will see you all at Sheffield.
Yeah, I actually said in one of my build-ups to my predictions of what I thought would happen this year, I thought, you know what, I'll say Chelmsford will probably win the playoffs just because I can't go. It would just be so typical for them to go and win the playoffs and I can't be there.
Honestly, that's probably going to be the way because you can't be there.
But no, I mean, that would be fantastic. We've obviously got a long season to get through before that. We've got, we haven't even got anywhere halfway through yet. We're, just in the first month. NHL hasn't even started yet. So we've
got a long time, but I'm sure it will come around quick enough.
I know. And sorry if we've gone on a little bit long. We were hoping to sort of aim for about an hour. As we were just saying off air, sort of between recording, we may end up doing this slightly more regularly than monthly. You know what I'm like. I can't say no to it, can I? So.
No, I mean neither can I. I mean, soon as you sort of offered me, I was just like, I've got to do this. It gets me back into hockey media, and I'm missing doing what I was doing last year. But this is my little hockey media fix.
Hopefully, it's everybody's hockey fix as well.
Yes, hopefully.
Katelin, welcome aboard. It's great to have you.
Thank you very much.
Let's see you next week because don't know when it will be. But
don't know when it will be.
We're going to get a guest booked in soon. We've had a few guests confirmed. We're going to get a guest booked in soon, so we'll pop this monthly roundup episode out, and then halfway through October probably we'll get one of our guests in.
Yeah. Well, it's been a lovely first pod. I'm really, really happy to be here again. And yeah, I can't wait for what might be monthly, but what might be fortnightly, weekly. We don't know yet.
Buy something. It'll be buy something.
Yeah.
Again, massive shout out to Mike Giannoni at Hockey Art Co. They're our sponsors. They've been with us for a few years now. If you want to buy some of the freshest looking hockey gear for on ice and off ice, head to hockeyartclothing.co.uk and use the discount code ZP10. Right, thank you so much for joining us, Katelin. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Ben.
And I'll
see you in the next pod.
See you on the next pod.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.